Hello everyone and welcome to today's How Not to Play video. It is the inaugural edition of the series where we learn how not to play vampires with TruedawnFM, an experienced MTG player who is teaching me, the noob, how not to screw up. So if you would like to learn how to play it in some instances and how not to play it in others, then stay tuned because this is going to be pretty freaking cool. Alrighty, so we want to make a vampire deck. So, what's first?
So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could make token vampires, which would be more resilient to removal. You'd have a bunch of things that make multiple creatures, and you would do what's called going wide around your opponent. Like they could have one big thing, but if you have like 6 attackers, you can still attack through profitably, stuff like that.
Okay.
Or you can be just more of a creature-centric deck with like more resilient individual, powerful creatures. That is a little bit more vulnerable to removal. So if we want, I think that the token one is personally better, so we could potentially start with that.
Alrighty, so
and
what's
you would
first?
Want, we could actually, you could search by vampire on the thing, and it should still see the vampire token generators.
Vampire. Alrighty.
Yeah, so here's some vampires.
That's fun.
So like Sky March Aspirant is a reasonable card. Usually the rate for a 1-drop is 2/1. Like either 1/2 or 2/1.
What does that mean?
So that's power toughness.
Okay.
The first number is power. The second number is power.
Right. Sorry.
So that's just like how it's referred to. So whenever it's like 4/5 or whatever, 3/4, the first number is power, second number is toughness.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna use some of these aspirants.
Yeah, Sky March Aspirant is a reasonable 1-drop. You want to be pretty aggressive. Hitchhiker, thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate that. And the most important thing for this deck is mana curve. So you want to still be reasonably low to the ground. You want to have cheap things. You can go like 1-drop, 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 or 1-drop, 2-drop.
Okay.
This deck, I think, is going to be a little bit slower because of the token generation, which is fine. You're a little bit more resilient.
Okay.
So for 2-drops, you could play things like Dusk Legion Zealot is a black card. Is a reasonable one to play. Martyr of Dusk is also a good one. It's a creature that gets a creature when it dies.
Okay. Dusk Legion Zealot, this guy.
Yeah.
How many of them should we put in?
Oh, see, it's like a card that comes in and it draws a card, so you don't really care if it dies because it replaced itself.
Yeah. Cool. So how many of these do we put in? We just
we can put 4 of all these in for the start, and then we can like maybe cut some things down afterwards.
What does he do? Enters the battlefield tapped. You may cast from your graveyard if you gained life. Oh, okay.
Oathsworn Vampire is a very reasonable card. I think Oathsworn is more so for the more creature-centric build.
Okay.
Because you want to play him with creatures with lifelink. We could play him in this one. It would be like reasonable. You could put him in there for now, and then we could see where we're at.
All right, sweet.
Sanctum Seeker is a 1-of is also a good one. We could just play 1 of that card. That's actually like kind of the number you would normally play.
All right.
And then of course we need the Lord. I actually don't know what it's called. If you go to multicolored or keep scrolling over, Legion Lieutenant.
Oh, Legion. Yes, this guy is annoying.
Yes, Legion Lieutenant is very important.
Oof, I hate this guy. How many of him do we put in? Also 4.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Call the Feast is also probably one of the strongest cards for the archetype.
Oh, yeah, for
Making
tokens.
3 bodies with 1 card is very good, especially when you have things like Legion Lieutenant that can pump them.
Yeah.
You'd want 4 of that card optimally. We have a bunch of wild cards, so if you're okay
yeah, we
with
can spend them. I bought a pack yesterday because I was having FOMO. I was like, but I want shiny cards. And now I have 3 cards. Haha.
Yeah, awesome. Card is very good.
I haven't played with him yet, so, but yeah. Okay. Sweet. Call the
Feast is like one of the more important ones. We could play a Vana if you like. Vana is a reasonable card to play in this archetype. Also, like there's combat-centric things surrounding Vana that may be good to learn if it comes up during the game. So we get to that if it comes up.
Cool.
But like the whole point of Vana is Vana has a tap ability but has vigilance. So you could start the attack, and then after attackers are declared, tap Vana. But once attacker's attacking, it's attacking. So it doesn't matter that it's tapped anymore.
Yeah.
So you get to do both.
That's cool. All right, and then what's next?
We could like go back. I know So in white, there is Queen's Commission and Martyr of Dusk are both good cards in this archetype.
Queen's Commission.
It's a 3-drop. They're both on the previous page.
Right. Oh, there. Right. Queen's Commission. All right, cool. More vampires. Nice. 4 of 4.
Yes, 4.
Cool. And then
And
the other
we
one?
can play a few Martyr of Dusk. It's like 3 or 4 Martyr of
Cool.
Dusk. We're just trying to fill out our curve, see if you like look at the little curve thing in here, the deck. We have a lot of 2s and stuff.
Yeah.
We're just we want to like just be operating very low to the ground. And then cards that have like high impact, like Call of Feast, okay to have a couple of those. Don't have too many though. And then one of the other important ones would be Radiant Destiny. I don't know if you have Radiant Destiny.
I think I do.
But that would be what is called an Anthem effect. We want Radiant Destiny.
Do I need more than one?
4 would be the optimal number, but they are rare. I don't know if you want to commit the rare wild cards. It's up to you. But for this archetype in particular, it's very important.
Sure, why not?
And this is also applicable, like if you make the cat deck, you can name cats with Radiant Destiny.
Yeah.
It's good with all of the tribal-centric white decks.
Okay. Is there anything else we would need the rares for that you can think of before I...
Not for this deck, no.
Okay. That's just good. Why not? And the other one. Cool.
Yeah, that's like, this deck's actually pretty easy. It's just that, and you could play a couple, what is it, Champion of Dusk? Go to like black 5-drop, something of Dusk. I think it's Champion of Dusk. You start with 1, so you'll have at least 1.
This guy.
Yeah, Champion of Dusk. Yeah, we can play 1 Champion of Dusk. We don't need another one.
All right, when this enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life for X's number of vampires you control. Ugh.
It's a very powerful effect. Although there's like diminishing returns on it because you hit yourself for 1 million.
Yeah, you're just smashing yourself in the face. Like, just quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself.
But it's generally okay. Cool. The other rare we could play if you wanted to is Legion's Landing. Legion's Landing is another very good vampire-centric card. It's also just a good card for any token archetype.
Legions? Like, yeah.
I think it's
oh, wait, I got the 5-drop on. Whoops.
It is the Legion's Landing.
There we go. Ah, yes, this card. This card that also screwed us over just now. Sure. Why not? Just one of them?
Oh, sure. I don't want to deplete all your wild cards. And then I guess we could play like 2 more Oathsworn Vampire, and I think that fills everything out. Or actually, you know what? We should play like 2 Ixalan's Binding just to have some interaction. We don't have any interaction right now, which is okay for certain archetypes. You don't need to... If your proactive plan is strong enough, sometimes it's okay to not interact, or if you're interacting through some creature like or synergistic means, then it's okay.
Yeah.
But I like having like 2 Ixalan's Binding just because.
Yeah, I hate that card too. Haha, takes my stuff.
So this would be 60 cards. Also, we should fix our mana a little bit. We should probably be playing some of the black-white dual lands.
Yeah.
You just have like the come to play tapped ones. It's still fine. And Sheffet Dunes is also very good in this deck.
I've got Sheffet, so we take out. This is white.
It'll do it automatically if you have suggested. If you add 2 Sheffet Dunes, it'll take it.
Okay, that's cool. And then anything else?
The dual land. Well, I don't know what it's called. It should be over to the right.
Do I have it? Isolated
you actually
Chapel?
have Isolated Chapels, yeah. Definitely play 2 Isolated Chapels and like 2 Forsaken Sanctuaries, I guess. Because we had the 2 for Isolated Chapels, and that should be fine.
I don't think I have any other duels.
Yeah, that should be close enough right now. All right, and now you have a fully complete vampire deck.
Sweet. So is this ideally what a curve of this archetype should look like?
We're a little heavy on 2, although that's kind of fine. You'd have a few more 1-drops, but yeah, that's like for an aggressive deck. We're like in reasonable territory. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. It needs a name and it needs a new picture. Which looks coolest? Where are you? You get to be the thingy.
Vanna is the leader of the vampires.
Yes.
It's very thematic.
So we're gonna call it Suck It.
So this will be like a good little entry point for like creature combat and all that. This is pretty just creature-centric deck. So with your opening hands, you're looking for like things to do in the early turns, which we have here. We don't have a 1-drop, but that's fine. Our deck doesn't have that many. It's unlikely we'll get a better hand than this with a mulligan.
Yeah.
Generally, with mulligans, you're just deciding, is this better than the average 6 or 5 or whatever the next mulligan would be? And this is medium, but keepable.
Medium, but keepable. Alrighty.
So this turn, we could play the Forsaken Sanctuary first because that comes into play tapped. We're not doing anything with our mana this turn anyway, so we don't really pay a cost for playing it this turn.
Cool. And then this would be better to play once we have a swamp or
plains,
plains down.
So we want to play like plains. Skurk Prospector. Our opponent is probably on a God Pharaoh's Gift deck.
Oh dear.
Very scurry. They're also doing nothing.
It's okay.
So,
he's taking his time.
Assuming our draw step doesn't really alter anything, what we would want to do on our turn is play Martyr of Dusk, because you generally don't want to run out Legion Lieutenant straight up on turn 2, because Legion Lieutenant can affect the board at the first turn it's played. So if you get a bunch of things in play first and then play Legion Lieutenant, it has that immediate impact.
Yeah.
And even if they kill it, it does something first. So you want to try and save Legion Lieutenant until you have some vampires on the board, and then like attack with the +1/+1.
Right, cool. Any preference here in terms of
either plains or swamp.
Plains or swamp. All right, let's go plains. And then Martyr. Wonk. Cool.
And we don't want to block. We don't care about the 1 damage. We have a lot of life in our deck. We can race back.
Okay.
If they're on God Pharaoh's Gift, that is a deck that they actively want their creatures to die. They get a lot for their creatures being in the graveyard. So yeah, we don't want to block here.
All right, that makes sense.
We're like on a damage basis. We're essentially trading like 2 for 1. They can play the so it actually they are mono red.
Okay.
So it misassessed some things, but that is fine.
There we go. Isolated Chapel.
Yeah, sure. So since the Legion Lieutenant doesn't actually do anything on this board, it would make our Martyr of Dusk a 3/2, which can't attack through the first strike bringing runner.
Yeah.
We would just play Dusk Legion Zealot this turn and try and set up for Sanctum Seeker on the following turn.
All right.
That's a good one.
Oothsworn Vampire, so no Kataki.
Yes, we cannot attack into the first strike creature, unfortunately.
Right. I'm gonna switch auto tap off because it's given me issues the last few games. I'll just tap really quickly.
Well, you could tap manually. If
well,
it's
yeah,
on
I could actually.
Yeah.
I really don't like that the concede button is so close to auto tap. That makes me nervous. Cool. So next turn we can get Sanctum Seeker. Whenever a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. Cool.
Yeah, Sanctum Seeker is very good, especially against mono red. They actually don't have a lot of ways to deal 4 damage. Here, I would actually probably be content to now block the Martyr of Dusk on the Skurk Prospector, because it would make us have a 1/1 lifelink token, which is pretty valuable against mono red.
Okay.
And especially with the Oathsworn Vampire, I would like to have a source of lifelink in place when coming attack. So
all right.
I think I would, just block the Martyr of Dusk on the Skurk Prospector.
Okay. Ow. You did.
Probably should have done that last turn, but I had a bad read on what the matchup was.
No worries.
So I heard you were playing dinosaurs before.
Yes.
How are you liking dinosaurs?
I had a Carnage Tyrant, which worked quite well, and that Gatali guy, is that his name?
Yes, Gatali.
Yeah, the 12/12. We got him down, and then we put haste on him with double strike and haste. Oh, just double strike with what's her name? The Planeswalker.
Oh, it's Samus.
Yeah. Yes. That was fun.
That's good.
All right.
Okay.
So
We actually have a few options this turn. You could play Legion Lieutenant plus the Oathsworn Vampire. But that leaves you vulnerable to a removal spell. Our opponent does have 3 open mana.
Yeah.
And a lot of those could be removal spells. They haven't played a creature, so it's very likely their hand is reactive.
Yeah.
So Sanctum Seeker has the upside of having initial board impact. We can attack with our 2/1/1s and get the trigger, and there really isn't any removal spell they could have for the mana they currently have open that kills Sanctum Seeker.
Yeah.
So Sanctum Seeker is likely the better play this turn.
Okay. So any preference on land? Or just
doesn't generally want to hide things like Shephet Dunes.
Okay.
Just play them as late as possible so your opponent doesn't know you have them.
Okay. So we play
Like
this
when you
dude.
can afford to do so. And we have excess lands. So yeah, we can just play the Sanctum Seeker here. They may use a removal spell on our token or whatever, but that's fine. And we can just attack with our 1/1s.
Okay. Because he can't block us.
Yes. They could use a removal spell, but they likely would have done that before the Sanctum Seeker trigger.
Pew pew. Nice. And we hope he doesn't have a rampaging Ferocidon, I suppose.
That would not be great for us. That's a very good. We don't want to block here because they actually don't have removal that could deal with a 4 toughness creature by itself. What they're trying to do here is induce a block and then use either Magma Spray or Lightning Strike with alongside First Strike to kill Sanctum Seeker and Ring Runner survive. So we just take the 2 damage. We can race it.
Okay.
Sanctum Seeker gains a lot of life.
What is a Puncturing Blow? Is that 4 or 3?
Puncturing Blow is a card they could potentially have. It's not something that's played when you have access to the full card pool, but it is entirely possible that our opponent is building their stuff up and have fun. But even in that spot, we still wouldn't block.
Okay. Cool. Alright.
So now we actually have a super good attack. We can play our Legion Lieutenant, which gives both of our 1/1s a profitable attack into the Goblin Warchief, and then follow it up with either Oathsworn Vampire or Dusk Legion Zealot. We can just play, like this is the thing I was talking about, Legion Lieutenant, where now you play in a turn attack. They could have a Magma Spray or whatever, but that's fine. I think that it's unlikely enough that we can play it, and it's not even that bad if they do.
Okay. Cool. So we're playing him and then attack with the guys we have. And then we combat. Can I swing with everyone?
Yeah, we could attack with everyone here. Sanctum Seeker makes the winning the race very easy.
Ow! That hurt.
I was content to take it. So here we could
Bloody
probably
hell.
just play Oathsworn Vampire.
Yeah.
Not a great blocker. Comes into play tapped, but that's fine.
That's alright. But we wouldn't block anyway because this guy's giving us all our boosts.
Yes, we're not going to be blocking. Got there.
Woohoo! Yeah. Nice. Alright, again. I guess appropriately, suck it.